Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to beautiful Daytona Speedway. John Mushton here for the Sim Racing Network. Sitting beside me in the booth tonight is Don Runkle Jr. I might add another junior. Heck yeah, we got our production expert in the booth tonight, Aaron Gottschalk. And folks, this is the first race of the duels for the Monday Night Money Series for Sim500. And I tell you what, Don, if any of the other racing the Sim500 guys do is indicative of what we're going to see tonight. After that championship race last night for their last series over at Las Vegas, tonight's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race. Super Speedway Racing. This is going to be off the hook tonight. These guys are already seeing some wicked fast speeds in practice here with these guys in the draft.
You mentioned it, the speeds, man. It's incredible what I've been seeing. Now, single car speeds aren't all that much. Right now, we're looking at Nick Solomon. He topped out at about 188 by himself. But, man, those packs. Man, I tell you, Don, I didn't see anybody less than 198 through the turns in a big pack. We had a huge 5-6 car pack earlier during practice, and man, it was that's hauling the mail right there, buddy.
Yeah, carrying that kind of speed through the corner can always be hairy when these cars are so close together and doing the kind of speeds they're doing. One little mess up from any of these drivers, one little hiccup can send all those guys right into the wall, and all that all that racing just right out the window.
Absolutely. You know, something else that we should probably keep in mind and mention is tire temperatures, tire wear, and fuel amount also affects how these cars handle. The longer they run, the lighter they get, and the more these things move around, especially in a pack. We saw it last night at Las Vegas. Granted, it's not a 2.5 mile super speedway, but it's still a pretty good sized track, and they were hitting speeds of 198 going down to 1, and we saw several cars. The longer in that run they went, the lighter that car got, and the more it started to move around. These Cup cars are notorious for that, so that'll be something else we need to keep our eye on tonight.
Yeah, definitely. The tires getting wore, the fuel load getting a little lighter will make these cars definitely move around in the traffic. The air is going to be pushing them around and everything. We're probably going to be able to, see these guys having to make a green or a pit stop sometime during these duels. So, there might be an opportunity for guys to take 2 tires, no tires, 4 tires. So there's going to be definitely pit strategy involved in this race tonight.
Absolutely. So let's real quick before they get lined up here for the race, we're going to go over who all's in this first duel. As far as driver names go, we got Chris Cabot, we got Robert Gillenwater, Bobby Terrell, Michael Batman Keaton, Randy Yoakum, Dan Denayer, Justin Fuller, Scott Simley, Joey Jatina, Nicholas Cohan's in here, Nelson Rivera, Josh Parker, Brian Chambliss, Jose Gonzalez, Daniel Falkingham. Boy, he had some rough luck in Vegas last night. Trey Edson, Dave Comstock, Glenn, the Rhinestone race car driver Campbell, Mike Montesi, James Pascarella, Jason Barham, Nick Solomon, Brian Wertman, Steve Gottschalk, Mitch Rollo, our very own Mitch Rollo, Tommy Ryan, and Nigel Standish will be the field for this first duel. And Don, here we go, man. They're lining up. They're getting ready to grid, and we're going to take this thing and go green.
Yeah, lining up right off the bat. These guys are basically, I have to look at my notes. I believe it's the top 18 are getting in.
Yes, I believe that's correct. The top 18 are going to get in. I think they've got 4 cars eligible for the
provisionals.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, provisional.
No problem. I'm here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a long Monday, man. Me and Mondays don't get along, Don. I really don't like Mondays, man.
I hear you. I definitely don't have a case of Mondays there, John.
I got a spare case if you want it.
Oh, okay. No? Thanks. Okay. That's great.
No, you know what I do like about Mondays is these Monday night series right here. I tell you what, this is going to be fun, man. There's more details on the Sim500's Facebook page, and it's just going to be a blast broadcasting these guys. They've always put on a great show. This group of drivers in Sim500, never disappointing.
No, and I'm looking forward to this Transervice Cup Series here. This is going to be a great race. Duel number 1. Like we were saying before, top 18 will go unless one of the front row, which happens to be either Trey Edson or Chad Coleman, if one of them is in the top 18, then they're going to take the top 19 because that'll be the cutoff. So that's what we'll be looking for right there, the bubble between 18 and 19th.
There you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. I'm glad somebody was able to point that out. I was looking for it myself in the notes here and couldn't find it. So we'll keep our eyes on that very important position for off the race. So let's go see how they're gridding right now. Up front, we've got Trey Edson. I tell you what, Trey has been on fire these last few weeks. Took the championship for the Joe Gibbs Winter winter off series, I should say, powered by Interstate batteries, and he got a great little package out of that. Outside of him in row 1 is Josh Parker. Go ahead and take row 2 there, buddy.
And after that, we got Jose Gonzalez starting 3rd. Michael Batman Keaton is going to be starting 4th.
Steve Gottschalk is going to be inside row 3 and 5th. Outside of him, the car number 30 of Daniel Falking.
And after that, we're going to have Justin Fuller starting in the number 11 car, followed by our next two, Mr. Glenn Campbell in the number 44.
And finally, in the 5th row here, we got Dave Comstock inside row 5 and Chris Cabot on the outside row 5. And that one car, and here we go, Don. The pace cars come out of 4 with the field in tow. Teammates on the front row, and I tell you what, this is going to be fun. We should have a real good race ahead of us here. Pace cars off, and here we go, folks, the start of the 2019 series. It's official. Here we go. Green flag is out, and I tell you what, the 40 car was kind of sleeping on that start. Or Don, who might be giving that teammate of his a chance to come outside there and duck down in front of him.
He could be doing that already, trying to get hooked up with teammates there. It's very important. Drafting is the key there. You got to be drafting here. We did see that the high line does take a little time to get going. Haven't been too impressed with how the high line has moved in practice, but maybe it'll be different in the race.
Yeah, we're hoping so. I mean, unlike in real life, that outside line was the line yesterday we saw in the Clash on TV, but look at that. As we say that top 3 on the outside line just passed us up on the inside here and passed up the inside line there. So we're going to put the 23 up to 1st with Mike Keaton in 7th behind him, and looks like Falkingham in 3rd behind him.
Yeah, they definitely worked together. They got a good run. They saw that they were going to be able to all make that work, so they just stayed together. Looked like they were all working together, possibly talking on the radio, who knows, and worked their way to the bottom where they want to be.
I tell you what, that's going to be key right there, is working together, communicating properly in here, especially when it comes time for pit stops. I do believe we have to do at least one pit stop, so, we have to keep an eye on that. So what we're going to do is watch these guys come around. Wow, did you see that? It looked to me like the 23 got just a little bit loose there.
Little bit.
That's another thing to keep an eye on. Here at Daytona, if you get down on that yellow line, the wrong spot to turn, you're going for a ride. We saw some great saves during qualifying for the pole yesterday. And a couple of guys got down that yellow line, especially right through the tri-oval, and lost control of the car. In the meantime, look at this. The 26 is going to duck upside. That's a great one. It's going to duck to the outside row and try and help that 40 car and that 44 back there, see if they can't suck themselves up to the front there and give the 23 a fight for the lead.
Yeah, there looks like some guys are trying to make that outside line work, but like I said, the preferred line is to be on the bottom. Again, like you were alluding to, you don't want to get below that yellow line, make a pass. You don't want to get down there in the tri-oval. And as this run goes on, these cars will get lighter and they'll be a little bit looser in the back of the car, especially in this dirty air. Maybe the leader might not notice it as much, but the guys in the back will, because they're going to be in all that dirty air. And through the tri-oval, these cars are definitely going to be hard to handle in traffic.
Absolutely. I tell you what we're seeing right now, man, we've basically got everybody but 4 cars down on that inside line, riding that yellow line, make that 5 cars now. Somebody back there in the back trying to try and jump up there. So that outside line's just not working right now, and chances are we're probably not going to see it come in to play at all in this short 40-lap event.
Yeah, and some guys might actually just be, they're looking for the big one. We know this is only a 40-lap race, but it always happens here at these tracks. These are stick to plate races. One big car gets sideways, it can pile everybody up into it. You see a lot of fast guys in the back. Nick Cohan, Tommy Ryan, James Pasquarella. They're in the back. These guys are just kind of hanging out, maybe going to see what's going to happen. Maybe try to avoid some of that trouble that they're foreseeing happening here soon.
In the meantime, our pole sitter, I would say pole sitter, but the guy that started first on the front row, Trey Edson, he got hung out to dry, and he is watching the entire field pass him up right now. That time by, he is marked 13th, but give it a few more seconds here, and he'll probably be all the way to the back all by himself, and that is a disheartening feeling. Or it could be something he planned, like you just mentioned. Maybe he's just trying to stay out of that big one that we know is going to happen here pretty soon.
I mean, well, hey, we might get green flag racing the whole time. I don't know. I don't want to put a curse on the race or anything, but that's just the nature of the beast here at the Daytona and Talladega. And right now all these guys are just single file. They're just lined right up. They're just happy to be where they're at. And yeah, he got hung out, but hey, that might be a blessing in disguise. We'll have to see.
Absolutely. And we were watching practice and commenting on the fact that these guys were running big packs, big drafting packs during practice, getting used to each other, getting used to being around each other and seeing how it's going to handle That what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of bumper to bumper, single file driving, except for way back there in the back. We got about 3 cars topside also, but they're not going anywhere. So we're probably going to have to sit here and watch these guys do this for the first few laps, just getting used to the track, getting used to each other, and then probably not even going to make their moves until after the pit stop.
Well, see, that'd be another thing. Pit stop strategies come into account here. Are some of these guys going to pit halfway? Are they just going to run their fuel and then, run their fuel out and then pit? You might see some guys try to actually pit early to maybe get away from this pack racing. Maybe a couple, 1 or 2 guys, or 2 or 3 guys, sorry, get into a little pack, pit, come out, and they're not having to worry about all these other cars. So, things like that might come into account here too.
Say, when I'm watching this 3-car pack, actually 4-car now up in the outside group, we got 5 of, let's see that, Bobby Terrell.
Bobby Terrell, yeah.
Bobby Terrell with the 12 behind him of Scott Simley, and behind him is the 22 of Nelson Rivera. And now they've got help from, looks like Tommy Ryan and Trey Edson back there, and they're making some ground actually there. I was watching them, Don. They're making a lot of ground coming up towards the front now.
Well, the thing about being in a straight line like this on the bottom is some of these guys do have to check up a little bit. You sometimes might not suck up. You'll suck up to the guy too much in front of you. Have to get off the gas a little bit. Maybe have to lay on the brake just a little bit just to get the car woed down so you don't get into the guy too fast in front of you. It can cause some of the guys further back to check up, which in turn can actually, in the back of this field, can make some of those guys, they're like, hey, we're going to jump up high. Let's take advantage of some of this checkup and maybe be able to pass some of these guys. So looks like they might be able to make that high line work.
Well,
as I say that,
we got a wreck. Caution is out. Heavy damage on the 5-car. He's got no front end left there. It looks like Scott Simley was in on that also. He's got some heavy damage. We had several cars on that. If you watch the replay here, that's really unfortunate to see right there. It was just it looked like 2
a
cars
bump draft in the corner.
Yeah, the bump draft gone wrong there.
Yeah,
that's something we didn't really touch on. You don't want a bump draft, especially in these corners. I mean, bump drafting is good. Don't get me wrong, but not in the corners. These cars are just too light.
I don't think that was actually done on purpose, right? I think Scott, what it was is maybe it looked like the 5 kind of, was slowing down just a little bit because he was sucking up the guy in front of him, and Scott just misjudged it maybe, and just had right there, perfect example of bump drafting gone wrong in the corner.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It took out some good cars. And I'll tell you what, the 22 of Nelson Rivera barely touched the wall, it seemed like, but man, he's got heavy damage.
Yeah, he's got heavy damage on the front end there.
He took the 4 up into that wall with him. So we're going to get this thing sorted out real quick. Now, I would not be surprised if we saw people come on down pit road now and get enough fuel to go to the end if it's
Definitely.
possible.
Definitely. I would say that would be the smart move to do for almost everybody here is to get down on pit road, top that thing off, and they should be good to the end.
Well, that's what the consensus was, Don, under practice conditions. I was talking to a couple of guys that they were saying anywhere between 30 to 33 laps on fuel. So, duck in now. We're at lap number 10 when the pace car comes back by this time. Pit road should be open. Let's see if we have any takers here. Nobody went in.
Wow, that's surprising. I'm surprised by that. I'm shocked that guys wouldn't want to come in. Well, it looks like Nick Cohan's coming in. Maybe him. No, he went back out. No. Okay, well, yeah, I'm really
Randy
surprised
Yoakum
by
brought
that.
it in.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yoakum's in. Behind him is Wortman. Joey Jattina brought it in. Several cars did come in. Now, some of those are damaged cars as well. But
I'm
these
surprised
guys,
more
I
didn't
think,
do it.
Oh, yeah, Jatina's got damage. I just noticed that on that pretty Clemson car of his. There's a funny story behind that, Don. I don't know if you heard this or not, but it seems Mr. Jattina thought it would be a great idea to make a bet with Nick Timms on a certain championship game, and
looked like he didn't do too well.
He didn't do too well on that, so he's got to drive this Clemson car, and Mr. Jattina is actually a Bama fan, poor soul, but we won't hold that against him. But
I'm sure
so
he doesn't feel too bad about denting that car up now, maybe then.
Probably not. He probably thinks it looks a lot better, but he's gonna get that damage fixed and get back out there. So now some of these guys, I'm sure, did that just to make sure they go all the way on fuel, and if they're smart, they're coasting here with the ignition off under your caution to even save even more fuel. But we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised by no guys taking advantage of that. That might be it. Maybe they just want to be sure that they're going to be okay on fuel. Maybe these guys are going to top off here at the last minute before we go back green. That's a possibility too, because I
True.
really don't think tires are going to be too much of an issue. I don't think they should have to take any tires. So basically, just topping it off, they should be good to go. But we'll see.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of guys during practice. There was almost no tire wear on a 20-lap run, so I would not be surprised to see guys fueling up totally and not taking any tires at all.
Yeah, the only drawback about not taking tires at a restrictor plate race like this is, tires do go for quite a long time on a run. I mean, you can even get through, a couple fuel runs without taking tires if you go green that long. But the only difference is in dirty air, sometimes when you're on the bottom, sometimes the car can just get a little bit more difficult to keep on that yellow line, especially if the car up high is crowding you. So that's the only drawback about not taking tires, but I don't think they'll have to worry about it here with only 40 laps in this race.
Probably not. You're right. So let's go ahead, rack them and stack them, and reset our top 10 for you. We've got Josh Parker still holding down the lead. Michael Keaton in second place. Daniel Falkingham's in third. Steve Gottschalk 4th. Justin Fuller 5th. Jose Gonzalez 6th, Glenn Campbell in 7th, Chris Cabot in 8th, Dave Comstock 9th, and Nigel Stanish 10th. Now, that ever important, 18th spot we were talking about right now, Dan Denier rides in that spot, and I believe Dan got through that accident unscathed, so he's looking pretty good right now to hold down that spot, make that transfer spot. Behind him is Wertman and Solomon and Tommy Ryan, and we got some pretty good cars behind it that may want to try and challenge for that spot there, Don.
Well, the thing is, our Daytona 500 pole sitter for the Sim500 is Trey Edson. So he's down in 23rd. He got involved in that wreck, so he doesn't really have to race his way in for position. He's already locked in. So it's going to be the top 18. So if he was in the top 18, we'd be looking at 19. But since he's out of the top, since he's way down there, it's going to be the top 18. So like you said, yeah, Dan Denator right now, he's on the bubble. He's locked in.
So he just has to keep his car in one piece and make sure he finishes 18th or better, and he's in the big show. Well, here we go. Green flag's coming out here shortly. Pace car's about to duck off on the pit road here. Green flag. There it goes, and here we go, back to green. Parker gets a pretty decent start there on the inside. Outside of him, Keaton kind of dragging a little bit. I don't know if that was intentional or he just fell asleep on the start there, but it's really not going to matter. He's got some help out there pushing him, and I tell you what, looked like somebody back there thought about taking it 3 wide there, Don.
Yeah, sometimes early on a restart, guys they're all dicing for positions. It's time to go. Somebody might miss a gear or didn't get changed in their, they didn't change gears quick enough, and somebody might get a better run. So you see a lot of guys kind of fanning out. Once in a while, somebody decides to go 3 wide. So I'm sure that'll happen at the end of the race.
3 wide is not something we see much of right now at Daytona. It's not as wide a track as Talladega is. You can get away with 3 wide. Hell, sometimes 4 wide at Talladega. But here at Daytona, this track is just so iffy that it's very risky to go 3 wide.
Yeah, especially in the corners. You might be able to get away with it on one of the straightaways, even the tri-oval, but corners, it's definitely a tricky situation to go 3 wide.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, it looks like more of the same that we had the first 10 laps of this race. That 23 car is out there. Josh Parker is just leading the way down there on that bottom line. It's hugging that line, making it very difficult for anybody to get by him. Oh, wow, Michael Keaton just had a little bit of contact back there. He kept it straight and he kept it going, but, man, that was a close call right there.
Yeah, definitely got kicked out there. Looks like they got a little 3 wide action behind him, but I think they're going to get that straightened out. He got a little slowed down up there in the corner, on the high side, getting kicked out, and kind of lost a little momentum. So some guys had to take some evasive maneuvers there.
That can definitely get your attention at 200 miles an hour when the car in front of you decides he's just going to slow down a little bit. But in the meantime, it looks like these guys are going to try and get back nose to tail down there on that bottom line. We got 3 cars on that outside line still. Looks like Michael Keaton is in the middle of that there with, let's see, that's the, I can't tell. Those blue numbers are hard to see on that car. 25 of Brian Chambliss, that's who it is. And they had the 09 behind him, that steel car, but he tugged down on the inside line and kind of left those 2 guys out there to fend for themselves, Don, and that's a helpless feeling.
Yeah, you got to look at where those spots are, too. They're back there toward that, they're just in front of that bubble, too, so those guys are looking at that. Because you can lose a lot of positions. We saw Trey Edson do that earlier. He was in the front and then went all the way to the back and then got caught up in that wreck. So, really, there's no place safe here, obviously. The back, the front, the middle. It's restrictor plate racing.
Exactly, and it really depends on who the aggressive people are that are around you and how aggressive they are. You could ride around in the back all day long unscathed, but the minute you start making your way to the front with 10, 15 laps to go, you get involved in somebody else's wreck that was just a little over aggressive. I've seen that happen. Hell, it's happened to me a few times.
Oh, definitely. And then, you also got to watch out for the guys that might not have anybody to work with, teammates that might have, they might not have any teammates to work with in this race or any friends to work with. They're going to be probably a little bit more aggressive as far as trying to maybe hop out of line and get back down to the bottom and things like that, because they don't have anybody to communicate with on the radio, so they just got to kind of take their moves as they can get it.
Absolutely correct. Right now, the only car not on the lead lap, still in the pits, is Nelson Rivera. Bobby Terrell in that 5 car with heavy damage from his earlier incident. He's still on the lead lap, but he's only making 170 miles an hour, so he'll be a lap down here pretty soon. And then we've got the other cars that were involved in that incident. They're also on the tail end of the lead lap. But right now, we still got a pretty strong field. And still up front, it's Josh Parker in that 23 car leading the way here at lap 15. We're going to take a commercial break, folks, and we'll be right back.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they use in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And welcome back to Daytona. We have got some racing going on up front there, Don. It looks like some guys got tired of running around in single file line and trying to make that outside work.
Yeah, it looks like Josh is trying to make his car as wide as he possibly can. He's got Daniel and Justin Fuller right there on the back, just breathing down his neck. Those guys on the high side, we got 4 cars right there on the high side. They're making it work. You can see him trying to get down low on those guys on the inside, try to get that side draft, and it's definitely working. You can see those guys pushing to the front.
Absolutely. Comstock's leading that charge on the outside line. And I tell you what, they are definitely making some ground up there. I didn't expect we'd see that so quickly on the outside line. And just as we say that, it looks like they're losing a little bit of their headway.
Losing a little bit. It looks like they need to get tightened up just a little bit more. He definitely gets some momentum coming off the corner. If you notice, in the corners, you see Josh changing lanes there. He's trying to break that momentum that Comstock's got, but he just couldn't do it. But you'll notice that Comstock, in the corners, he kind of gets down a little bit, tries to get that side draft to get that extra momentum coming off the corners. He didn't quite get it there, but he's still working on it.
And he's got our very own Mitch Rollo on his tail right there in the 96 Ford Fusion. Mitch is doing his best to get it locked onto that bumper of Comstock and give him all the push he needs to get up there and make something happen. But as they're doing that, the number 7, bless you, of Michael Keaton jumped off their line and jumped back down inside, left them alone there.
Actually, the 3 cars up there, if they get a little tighter, they can actually get up there. I mean, we saw 3 cars do it on a restart. If these guys can get just a little bit, if Mitch can actually just fall back just a little bit and pick up that guy behind him, they could actually probably get enough momentum to get around these guys. Those 3 cars can really punch a good hole in the air with those guys on the inside having to kind of whoa up a little bit for the, checkup and everything.
Well, I'll tell you what, as you said that, there was a heck of I don't know if it was a checkup or what. I guess they saw the 22 Rivera down there coming up, and everybody got a little wiggly right there. which kind of broke the momentum up of everybody, including the guys on the outside there. Comstock's going to drop back about 3 cars now from where he was. But I think you're right. I think if Mitch could back up a little bit and let the, oh, well, he's just going to jump down there in line anyway. So now that's going to kill that outside line's momentum. I hate to say that, man. Wow.
You know, I'm noticing another thing. You see guys that are getting up there, guys that we talked about that were in the back before. Nick Cohan, that guy started 27th, and now he's showing 7th. He's right there on that bottom line, and he's just kind of like a shark. He just kind of came up through the field, came through the waters, and I don't know where he came from, but he's right there.
Well, you know, he and Brian Chambliss both. Chambliss was back there with those guys in the back of this pack, and he rode that wave, so to speak, all the way up, you know, to where he's at now in 8th place on the outside line. But once it kind of started to fizzle out and he saw an opening, he jumped back down there on the inside line, which is a really smart thing to do. You know, that way you don't risk getting hung out to dry yourself. You're the one doing the hanging.
Yeah, you know, going to the outside like that, it is risky. It's a double-edged sword right there. You go out there, you can get a good run, you can make make some passes on the high side up through the field. But then you also got to know, when can I drop out? You're always looking out of the side of your eye. When can I get back into the bottom line? Is there room here? Is there room there? It's a chess game. I know it's cliche. We talk about it all the time, but it really is. These races are more head games than anything else.
Oh, absolutely, especially here at the Play Track. I mean, especially here at the Play Tracks. Head games are really what it's all about. And I want to point out a car real quick that we haven't really talked about a lot since it debuted, if you want, yesterday. And that's that number 91 of Steve Gottschalk. Steve's a great guy. I've talked with him several times on TeamSpeak here. He went out and got this thing put together as kind of a poke at SRM, but really as a poke to me, because when I first started broadcasting down with him, and I saw his name, Gottschalk, I made the obviously stupid comment. Well, I guess Steve got some chalk finally, and he ran with it. He ran with it, man. I just want to give him props. That's a really good-looking paint scheme he's got there, the Crayola chalk car, and it was just good fun that we had with that one.
Well, it's funny. I know Steve, or as some of us call him, Nerf, from Steel Horse Racing. I used to be a part of that team, and he's on that team, so we were actually teammates. I've known Steve for quite a number of years. I'm actually pretty good friends with him, and I love seeing him out here and racing these Sim500 races. I know he didn't have great luck last year, so I'm really, really hoping that changes for him here in this Transervice Cup Series. Yeah,
he's a great guy, and the best part of that scheme to me is the name over the door. It's Steve Got Some Chalk.
Got Some Chalk, yep. Yeah, Steve's a great guy. I love seeing him here every week.
We've got a lap car coming up that might cause some havoc with these guys on the outside. It's one of those cars that got substantial. Oh, as I say that, we've got a wreck up front. That is not good. Big time wreck.
Oh, definitely. Big wreck there up front. Big wreck. As you were saying that, I was turning to see the lap car, and I missed the wreck.
And it looks like that one started with the 25 car.
Did we have a blown motor? Did he blow his motor?
Let's find out here. Let's watch this replay real quick. Our producer's looking for the replay, but it started with the 24. Yeah, he blew up.
It looked like he blew his motor. I think he blew his motor.
Obviously. Oh, no, the 30 blew up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The 30, I couldn't get the number. I'm sorry about that. The 30, it looked like the 30, he was the second car on the bottom. It looked like he lost his motor. He tried to get down on the bottom of the track, but losing that much momentum and that much power, just losing a motor, all of a sudden he just tried his damnedest to keep that thing down, and yeah.
He got a lot of cars, and that is so unfortunate. You're right, and that's something we didn't really touch on, Don. That's a shame on us, but overheating when we're in this pack like this is definitely a problem with these cars. They're taped up pretty good there. I believe that somebody told me it was 55% tape, so you always have to keep your eyes on those gauges, and it looked like it was just maybe Daniel didn't notice he was getting hot, or he just didn't have anywhere to go. But unfortunately, that took out some great cars.
And I don't know, it looks like David Comstock's in the lead now after that yellow, but I don't know, was he involved in that first incident and maybe had a little bit of nose damage possibly, or could it just been that he was just driving way too aggressive with the drafting and just didn't notice the motor was overheating?
I will never know, to be honest with you. That first incident was so long ago, I really don't want to chase the replay, but that's a possibility. But I don't know, he was driving pretty good there, especially in the high side when he was up there. So I'm thinking maybe he was just a little over aggressive with his, his bump drafting, or with putting his nose up too close to those other cars. But man, That's a bad place to lose your motor when you're down on the inside like that, going into a turn. There's really no place for you to go. And when you drop off the power, even if you get down the apron, it's just going to shoot you right back up, which we just saw.
Yeah, a lot of cars got involved in that one. Even cars that might not have got a lot of damage, just a little bit of superficial damage, that's still going to affect the downforce here at this track. Aero is so important at these restrictor plate races. Even if you do get a little nose damage, if you stay in the draft, you should be okay. I'm noticing, like on Nick Cohan's car, it looks like he's got some front end damage, maybe some damage on the left front. But as long as you stay in the draft, you should be okay. So we'll just have to see how this works out for these guys.
Yeah, we'll let them cross the line one more time, and we'll see where everybody shakes out at, and we'll let you guys know out there in viewer land who's got that coveted 18th spot right now. At the moment, according to scoring, it's Jason Barham. But
actually,
like I said,
it's
Barham's in
going to
the
be
pits,
top 19 because Trey is in the top. If Trey, as long as Trey Edson's in the top 19, then
top
we have to count
19,
19. Yeah.
So that's going to well, as I was saying though, Jason Barron's in the pits, so we're going to let everybody cross the line here, get everybody kind of gathered up and scored properly, and we'll see where it shakes out, folks. But man, that's just a game changer right there. So many good cars involved in that shook up that top 19 for us there, Don. I tell you what, this should be really interesting going out from here, because we're about, I think we're going to go green with maybe 10 laps to go, 10 or 12 laps to go. Let me see.
Yeah, it's going to be a shootout. It's time to go, these guys. And the guys that we were talking about before, Tommy Ryan, JP in the 77 car, and our own Steve Nerf Gottschalk in the 91, those guys all started, well, no, Steve started, I'm sorry, he started 5th, so he did drop back early, but, JP and Tommy Ryan both started 25th, 26th, Nick Cohan started 27. Those guys are all inside the top 10 now.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction, and it's not really that off the wall when you stop to think about it. Everybody here, let's just say all the way back to 15th, okay? We'll play it, say all the way back to 15th. They know they're locked in.
Yeah.
They don't have to be aggressive. They don't have to pass anybody. They don't have to do anything. It's not about winning today. Today is about making sure you get into the 500. Well,
exactly.
The big race.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see some aggressive moves anywhere in the top 15. But I'll tell you what, from 16th on back, it's going to be hairy.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think a lot of those guys, I would say maybe the top 10 guys probably aren't worried. I think the guys back behind the top 10, those are the guys that are going to be really worried. I mean, even if they're past, even if they're locked in, they could have some guys get a run on the outside. Next thing you know, you're back. So I don't know. We're going to see.
Well, it looks like our bubble driver is that number 83 of Jason Barham. After all the pit stops and everything, he did come out 19th. Yep. But again, he received damage. The Yoakum car, number 80, the number 8, that's 18th. He's got damage. Mike Montesi, the 45, he's got a little bit of damage. Not quite as bad as most of these guys. So we've still got some cars that could, try to get in there on this fight for that last spot. Nigel Standish back there in 22nd. He's on track. Chambliss is in the pits right now getting more repairs done, but his car is all wrinkled up, so he might as well be out of that race. So let's go ahead and stack it back up for you folks. We'll give you a rundown here. I'll go ahead and do all the way back to the bubble spot there for Jason Barham. So we got Comstock, David Comstock in first, Josh Parker in second, Mitch Rollo, our very own Mitch Rollo, our producer, Mitch Rollo in third place. Did I say it was Mitch Rollo?
I think Mitch Rollo's in third.
I hit on that, right. Justin Fuller in fourth, Glenn Campbell fifth, Nicholas Cohen in sixth, Steve Gottschalk, or as you call him, the Nerf Man, in seventh place, James Pasquarella in eighth, Tommy Ryan ninth, Joey Jatina 10th, Jose Gonzalez 11th, Nick Solomon 12th, Dan Denayer 13th, Trey Edson, who was involved in an earlier accident and did start on our pole, but he's back up to 14th. And because he's already locked into the show, that means we're taking the top 19. So Wortman in 15th, Scott Simley in 16th, Robert Hotwater Gillenwater in 17th, Randy Yoakum in 18th, and Jason Barham in 19th. Right now, folks, that's the folks that are going to the show if it finishes like this.
Those are the guys that are locked in right now, but it's not over yet.
That's right. It is not over yet, Don. And whew, stand by, folks. It's going to get rocky, I think. We've got the pace car lights out. They're double stacked back there on the back stretch, coming through 3 and 4 now. When the flag comes out this time by, we'll have exactly 11 laps to go. And it's 11 laps to get it done if you're back there and fighting for that transfer spot.
I have a feeling in about 11 laps, we're going to have a lot of hurt race cars and a lot of hurt feelings.
Wouldn't be a big surprise.
Because restrictor plate racing, I mean, I don't think these guys are done wrecking yet, especially like you were talking about in the back, right around that transfer spot, right at that bubble. I think it's going to be chaotic.
Absolutely. So here we go, folks. They're coming out of 4 now. Any second now, that pace car is going to duck down. There he goes. Green flag is out, and that is a dead even start up front. It looks to me like the 23 might have just spun his tires a little bit. Not too bad, though. Boy, he's just going to door the Ford 2 down there, it looks like, Don.
Yeah, look like he was trying to get a little bit of side draft there and came down just a little bit too much. He looked like he was getting a good bump draft there, too. They're coming through the corner. They're still side by side, 2 by 2, at least 3. Well, Nick Cohan's changing lanes now, and it makes you see how much that top line dropped. As soon as Nick Cohan went to the bottom, there was a big hole in the air where he left, and those guys just dropped way back.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I I didn't think it would be too aggressive on the start, and I wasn't too far off. They're not really bum drafting or beating each other up there. I just, like you said, I think he was just trying to side draft and got a little over aggressive with it. There's going to be a big hole right there for him to drop down into, but in the meantime, behind him, we got a lot of cars pushing up on that outside lane there, trying to make something happen. Let's see who that is. That's Gottschalk in the 91. Behind him is Joey Jakin. Gottschalk jumped down and just ditched those guys. That is so rude.
So rude, so very rude. But, you know, JP and Nerf right there, the 77 and the 91, they're both on Steel Horse. They're teammates, so they're probably talking to each other in team speak. They're probably communicating, talking about where they're going to go. And as long as they're locked in, they're just making sure that they're a little bit, you know, got a couple more spots as a good little cushion there.
That's right. Now, in the meantime, back here in that transfer spot, it's between the 12 and the 8 right now. Scott Simley in the 12, Randy Yoakum in the 8. And right now, Simley's got it. Yoakum wants it. And they're both so damaged right now they can keep up with each other.
Yeah, right now it's like Yoakum doesn't want to get behind him because he knows, hey, I can't be behind you. I need to be in front of you. But like you said, they're both so damaged that it's like they're just trying to basically, and they're just trying to fight to get in front of each other, and they're both going to lose this main pack. So, you know, not only that, these guys also have to worry that, you know, the race might finish under caution. So, you know, it might not go the full way. So they might have to worry about that also.
Yeah, and it looks like neither one of them is going to be able to get any kind of a speed advantage over the other one. So they're going to have to just kind of sit here and really, I hate to say it, but beat and bang each other for that spot there, Don, it looks like.
I mean, they might just have to do that, you know, or maybe, you know, if he stays in the bottom, he might be able to get a better run, or if a lap car comes up or anything like that. I mean, that's basically what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, but in the meantime, folks, we're going to go ahead and head back up front and take a look at Comstock, who, by the way, you said earlier, and I didn't see it, but I do now, he does have some damage maybe down there in the right rear corner. I'm not sure if that was something that he got on a restart or... Well, I apologize, man. Now that I've switched cameras, he doesn't have.
It's not. No, I think it's just the way the paint scheme is. I actually was looking at it too, and I was like, no, that's not damage. It's just the way the paint scheme is.
Yeah, I have old eyes, people. That's all I can say.
Oh, I do too. I understand. But if you notice, these guys, like you were saying, I mean, they're nose to tail. They know that they're locked in. The only two guys that have to worry are those two guys that are all by themselves back there, just battling it out.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, you know, I hate it for the people who tune in to watch a really awesome race, but that's what the duels are really all about. I mean, you want to make sure that you're going to get into the show. The only way to do that is to finish in the top 19 in this case, because Edson has managed to get his car back on track and is actually running pretty doggone good. So we're not going to see a lot of aggressive driving. It's just not going to happen. But it is what it is. But in the meantime, like I said, we got actually one hell of a fight going on here back here between Yoakum and Simley. They can't. Neither one of them can get any kind of a speed advantage. You know, if it's going to happen, I think it's going to be that 8 car, to be honest with you. His nose isn't quite as beat up as Simley's nose is.
I agree. And, you know, that might be a consideration, too. These guys, both their cars are kind of beat up and everything. I mean, are their motors even going to last to the end? We've already seen a motor expire today. You know, that wasn't necessarily because of damage. Might have just been aggressive drafting. But, you know, I mean, these guys have both a lot of front-end damage. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. You know, it looked like Yoakum had the advantage there on that lap.
Yoakum did have the advantage on that lap, but his problem is he's stuck on the outside.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But actually, I think Scott Simley now, did somebody fall out? Because now Mike Mosley, these guys are both in now. Because it's the top 19.
Yeah, 19th spot, yeah.
Yeah, they're both in. So they're both in. As long as they finish where they're at, these guys are both in.
That's true, yeah. So Montese's the one way back there.
Yeah.
Somebody must have dropped out. Definitely. I didn't catch who it was. But that's okay. It was still fun to watch these two duke it out.
For a few laps.
For a few laps, yeah. So here we are, folks, coming to the flag. This time by is going to be 5 laps to go. Still pretty much the same up front. Everybody's just kind of single file, taking it easy. They don't want to wreck each other, cause each other to have any kind of issue here. The only thing that we might see, that we might possibly see, Don, is a fight for the win on the last lap. Because if something happens on the last lap, they're still going to be able to say, I'm in, because, it's the last lap. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Moralo's locked in on a provisional anyway, isn't he?
I do believe he is. And, these guys, if they wreck going across the finish, they'll all wreck in their probably prospective spots, or at least in the inside where they need to be. And, we'll see. Maybe, Nick Cohan might try to jump to the outside, and maybe Rollo go with him. We'll see, Did I mention Mitch Rollo's in second?
You did. I think so. If not, hey, Mitch Rollo's in second. And our producer's losing his mind. Anyway, and another thing to keep in mind is the pace they're going right now. They're going to pass up Montesi and Standish here in a little bit, put them a lap down. So, that gives them an extra cushion. If they choose they want to try and pass Comstock for the lead and risk an accident, it's not going to worry, because it's not going to bother them, because they're a lap ahead of the guys that are outside the top 19. So they've got nothing to lose, really.
Yeah, basically everybody's locked in. It's just for bragging rights right now. We'll see how it goes these last couple laps here. We'll see if anybody kind of steps out. I know Nick Cohan's definitely an aggressive driver. He would love to get a win. He's in third place right there. He's kind of just sitting it out. We'll see. Maybe, if he goes up high, though, and nobody goes with him, then he'll fall way back.
All the way to the back.
All the way to the back.
I hope somebody steps. Well, look, right there. Somebody is stepping out of line.
Yeah, see, they're playing with each other.
Yep. Yeah, they're just playing peekaboo.
They're playing peekaboo. That's all they're doing. But, that's another thing to keep. Nick Cohan knows he doesn't want to be sucked right up to Mitch Rollo. He's trying to time it. It looks like he's trying to time it. I think he's going to try to get some extra momentum and maybe swing out there. I don't know.
Possibility. That's an absolute possibility. Here we go. They're coming through 3 and 4 now. Lap 38. Next time by will be 2 laps to go. If they're going to make a move, it's going to be now.
Definitely, yeah. You definitely got to make them. You don't want to make one too soon, but this is the time to do it.
Absolutely. And like I said, if they get down that last lap, start shuffling each other around, and they get into an accident, they're still going to be okay. I'm pretty sure they're going to wind up catching Montesi and Standish here in the next lap. They're 5 seconds in front of them right now.
And that might come into account here at the finish, too, with these guys.
That's true, too, yeah. And then
these
don't forget, folks, this is just duel number 1. We have to do this all over again here after this one.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Right there. Mitch Rollo peeking out. Nick Cohan going with him, but Nick goes back to the bottom. They dumped Mitch Rollo right there. How could you do that to us?
That's harsh, man.
That's harsh, guys.
Oh, my goodness.
Mitch falling to the back. Exactly what I was saying. Nick Cohan got him looking. Now Nick can actually poke out now. No, it's too late now to make a move. They're already going through there. That's it. Mitch Rollo, though.
This is last lap right here. Final lap is out. And that's a shame. Unless lap cars are right here
lap
in front
cars
of them.
are there.
This is going to get tight, real tight right here.
Look at Nick Cohan looking to go to the outside, but he's getting a big block.
Throws the block on it to break that momentum, but he's still going to have it looks like a nose on him coming down through the backstretch here. Rollo's right on the back bumper of Cohan. I tell you what, Don, this could get dicey up here. We got another lap car right in front of him.
And Mitch Rollo's locked right on. You'll see Cohan came to the bottom, came down low, tried to get that side draft, losing the momentum. Comstock's definitely got the momentum there. He goes up high to throw the block. Cohan's got the momentum, but it looks like Comstock's going to get it.
Yep. The winner of that one is Comstock. Fuller ducked way down on the apron there. He'll be lucky if he doesn't get disqualified. I don't think he gained any spots. Lucky for him, but that's against the rules. And that's going to be the result of this one, folks. David Comstock for the win. We're going to go ahead and take about one commercial break, and we'll come back and give you the top 19 finishers, let you know who went to the show.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Daytona. Our duel number 1 is over, and we've got our winner of the duel, Dave Comstock. I'm making my way down to the Victory Lane interview with him here real quick. Dave, how you doing, buddy? Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
So you got a duel out of the way. You're locked in. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels good to get locked in for sure. We're not coming in on points based off last year, so was fortunate enough to stay at the front and grab the lead there that last yellow. Got fortunate with the time and loops there. Got past Josh right before the yellow came out. So good pushing by Mitch. I got to give a props to him. That still got me the lead, and kind of trying to practice like kind of what it would be like for the last lap if it was for next week, and at the same time just do it without wrecking myself or anybody else around us, because that's the last thing we want to do is knock ourselves out of contention there.
Roger that. Well, look, you put on a great show for us out there. You got anybody you want to thank for your win besides you already thanked?
Yeah, thanks to Aftermath Motorsports and my teammates with Trey Edson, Justin Fuller in the race tonight. Racingbiz.com. If you go to Facebook every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, got live auctions there on the Facebook Live there. So go check that out with Jonathan. Racingbiz.com. Gear Merchant Trucking, Monster Energy, Jay Laird, JDR Graphics, you guys for broadcasting, Transervice for sponsoring the series, and Sim500, the admins putting on the league for us. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time, David. That's our winner of the first duel tonight, folks. Dave Comstock in that beautiful 42 car. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Don's caught up with Scott Simley, our bubble transfer driver.
Yeah, we got Scott Simley here, bubble transfer driver. It's unofficial, but as far as our math shows, that you are definitely going to be the last driver to transfer into the big race. How you feel about that?
I'll take it, I guess. I didn't think it was going to happen, but that's too bad. I feel bad for Bobby and teammate there. We were running on that high line and coming along pretty good, and then Mitch pulled out, to take advantage of that high line, and I tried checking up, but it wasn't enough. I just barely tagged Bobby and turned him, and that
User
caused
was
that
moved to your
first
channel.
wreck there, but feel bad for that.
User joined your channel.
I guess we'll take it to get in this thing, but a lot of guys that didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad for those guys. That's racing, but you definitely got in. We were watching you and Mr. Randy Yoakum there with your beat up cars trying to basically race back and forth. But you guys, do you have anybody you want to thank? Maybe any teammates, sponsors that you haven't already mentioned?
Just thank everybody in Turn 1 Heroes, all the teammates there. Hippies Paint Shop, you guys, of course, for broadcasting, and Joey again for setting everything up and getting this thing rolling.
Well, yeah, definitely. And it's Scott Simley there with number 12, racing his way into the big race, getting the very last transfer spot.
Thank you, Don, for that. Appreciate it. And up here joining us in the booth right now, the head honcho over at the head honcho over at Sim Racing, who has spent a lot of time in the background getting the Sim500 Transervice Cup Series up and running. Joey Jatina, how you doing, Joey?
I'm here, to say the least. We made it. I can't believe it.
Well, congratulations. I was going to say congratulations. You made the big show there, buddy. But I have a question for you, though. Will we see that beautiful orange Clemson race car in the big race?
Unfortunately, I've got to honor my bet. Our Crimson Tide lost, and I have to I have to wear Dabo's colors for Daytona. But hey, I don't care. I'd drive a pink car right now just to make sure he made it in. Well, I got involved in that wreck back there with Scott. I don't know who he hit or whatever, but knocked somebody down, hit my right front, and I thought that was the end of me. But I think a lot of our guys were Sim500. Got to thank Jose Gonzalez because I was losing the draft. He come back there and got me. Brian Wortman was right there with us, so it's just a mess tonight. And luckily we survived with a damaged car.
Yeah, well, you weren't the only one with damage there. It looked like that last caution we had, the 30 car blew up, might have overheated, and I don't know if maybe he was just a little too aggressive with his drafting or had some prior damage from an earlier wreck or what, but he blew up, and he blew up in a bad spot up there in that front pack down the inside line with cars on his outside. He had no way to go, man.
If you wanted a good replay, you could have gotten the 14. I got hit from behind. Everybody's checking up. I think Brian got me in the rear, and I wound up driving right through the whole wreck. It was for sure a Days of Thunder reenactment over in 3 and 4 for the number 14.
You can do it, Cole. I know you can.
And I was telling the guys too, it's been kind of a somber day. 3 years ago, I missed Daytona in the ARCA race down there. I said I'd be damned if I miss it here, racing this computer tonight. So I don't know, man. I'm just as excited to be a part of it. And I hate it for the guys that didn't get in there tonight, but I'm ready for this second duel and be able to take a breath and watch them and have some fun with it.
Sounds great. Well, congratulations again, Joey, on making the big show, buddy. And we look forward to watching you next week on the race there.
Yep, Clemson car will be rolling. Thanks, guys, for everything y'all are doing.
Thank you, sir. And that was Joey Jatina, the number 14 Clemson ride car, the Clemson orange car, man. I tell you what, Don, that's an honorable man to honor a bet like that. I learned my lesson about those kind of bets about 20 some odd years ago when I was still working offshore. I bet on my boys at LSU with the World Series stuff going on, and I lost that bet and had to bleach my hair blonde for a month.
Oh, I bet you that was attractive. I would have loved to see. I gotta see. Somebody took a picture of that. I want to see a picture.
There
of that.
is a picture on that, but I'm not gonna tell you where it's
Frosty
at. But
tips.
anyway, well, folks, we're not even. Are we still broadcasting? Even? I'm sorry. Are we still live there, Mr. Aaron? All right, folks. What we're gonna do here now is we're gonna shut this broadcast down. We're gonna do a reset, get the server ready to go for the next one, and we will get you guys for the second duel. Where the next set of cars vie for spots to get in the next week's big race. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget you can stop by the Facebook page at facebook.com/The Sim Race Network. TheSimRaceNetwork.com is our website. I think we're on Twitch now as well, so you can follow us on Twitch at TheSimRaceNetwork.com and follow us there. And the Sim Racing Network on Twitter, which I think there's an underscore in there, isn't there, Aaron? Okay, so I'm willing to bet, folks, that if you Google the Sim Racing Network, we will pop up everywhere. We're that good. We're that famous. We're that big. So until next time, about 10, 15 minutes from now, folks, we will see you guys in a little bit. Make sure you tune in for that next duel race. It's going to be awesome. For myself, Don Runkle Jr., and Aaron Groskoff, this is SRN signing off. We'll see you in 10.